Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Radolescence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really hope this video finds you well, and I hope you're all staying safe and healthy during these tough times. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Moschino, and this one is called Moschino Cheap and Chic I Love Love, so make sure to stay tuned. So this is a fragrance that was released back in 2004, and the perfumer for this fragrance is Olivier Cresp. Now, Olivier Cresp is a fantastic perfumer. I actually had the pleasure of doing an event with him for Parfums de Marly when this fragrance was released. I've actually worn a lot of it, and he is a perfumer who is very iconic in the industry. He's a Hall of Famer in my book, and he has done so many iconic fragrances, including, but not limited to, the 1992 Thierry Mugler release Angel, and he's also done a fragrance that I think this one smells very similar to, and I'm going to be divulging what that fragrance is later on in this video. But this fragrance in particular, very inexpensive, and so don't make the mistake that I made. I was actually on a cruise with my wife, and we were at the duty-free shop, and my wife didn't pack perfume for whatever reason, and so I told her that I would buy her a bottle just so she can wear it throughout the cruise, something very appropriate for the springtime. And you can see that I'm kind of on a wave of reviewing fragrances that are appropriate for the springtime. I just did a review on this one, but this particular fragrance, she smelled it, she was instantly reminded of another fragrance that she's owned in her collection for many years now, has actually gone through several bottles of, and this one was so inexpensive. You can find it cheaper online, but it was so inexpensive that I ended up purchasing it for her, and she's been very happy with the purchase ever since. As a matter of fact, about a month and a half ago, she went to Florida, she brought this bottle with her, and I'm sure she wore it for the 5 or so days that she was down there. So this particular fragrance, it's musky, it's citrusy, it's a little floral, it's a little sweet, and it unquestionably smells like another fragrance also composed by the same perfumer, which was released 3 years prior to this one. I'm excited to tell you what I think it smells like and what I get from the smell, but let's start things off with the presentation. So the box for this fragrance is rather simple. You will see a picture of it right here, and in terms of the bottle, it actually looks like Olive from Popeye. It just says love here on the front. It has a sort of turquoise color. It's this frosted glass look. It is a plastic cap. It does click into place very securely. You can pick it up from the cap. And on the front of the bottle, you will see it actually says Cheap and Chic Moschino. The distribution on the atomizer is nice and wide, but it doesn't spray out a whole lot of juice. Let's continue with the smell. Now, as soon as this fragrance opens up, you are going to get a burst of citrus in the opening. Now, the citrus in here isn't ultra lively, it isn't ultra organic smelling, it isn't ultra natural smelling. I don't want to use the word synthetic because even some of the most expensive niche fragrances on the market utilize a lot of synthetic ingredients. But in the case of this fragrance, I don't think that the citrus is the star player, despite you getting a lot of it in the opening. Now, if you look at the note breakdown, it has grapefruit, it has bergamot, it has lemon, I think it even has orange. And I think the note that I get the most strongly from this fragrance is the orange, as a matter of fact, because I don't find anything about this to be tart. Lemon, I think, also has a very distinct smell about it. So I get more orange from this fragrance than anything else. And I think it's the orange that really kind of sets it apart from other fragrances that utilize like just bergamot, right? And that citrus is very short-lived, as most citruses in fragrances are. And what you're going to get after that is this note of tea rose. So tea rose kind of gives it this floral feeling, and this is unquestionably a slightly floral fragrance. You are going to pick up on the florals in here, although surprisingly, if you go online to a lot of online fragrance forums, according to user votes, the florals that are in here are not super strong, and I would kind of agree with that. I think this is more leaning on the musky and sweet aspects, and so you do get a little bit of like that musk that's in the base. You do get a little bit of this sugar cane note that is spoken about, which I'm sure is like ethyl vanillin or some other sweet ingredient that kind of makes up the mid and the base of the composition. But really what you're going to get is this very bright, lively, not supernatural smelling spring fragrance that I think is very versatile. It's a Swiss Army knife sort of a fragrance. I mean, if you're looking for something to wear on a special occasion, I would probably go for something like Aqua Fiorentina by Creed, if you're looking for something that's in the same wheelhouse. But this is a fragrance that unquestionably smells like Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana. And I'm talking about the women's version. Now, that is a fragrance that my wife has owned for many, many years. I love the way that it smells on her. I actually sneak a spray whenever I can because I'm so addicted to the smell. It's just a very well composed fragrance, and I think there's a lot of craftsmanship, that went into it. This fragrance, on the other hand, was unquestionably inspired by it, and as a matter of fact, it's the same exact perfumer. So it goes without saying that there were probably certain tools and ingredients available at his disposal that he used when creating this one, as he did when creating the 2001 release. So this one, I think, suits the same exact purpose. I think in terms of the similarity, if I had to put a percentage on it, it would be about 90 to 95% similar. It's actually quite close to Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana. So if you don't want to spend the retail price for that fragrance, which is still selling very, very well, it's a very popular fragrance, and it has withstood the test of time. As you can tell, it's been almost 20 years now. But this fragrance in particular is a really good and inexpensive alternative to Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana. However, I do think that it has more of this casual appeal about it. So it's not necessarily the type of fragrance that I would consider wearing in an ultra high class, upscale, formal scenario. Like I said, you can go with the Creed in that instance, but it's just a very happy, lively, happy-go-lucky sort of a fragrance that I think 99% of people around you are going to enjoy. And that small percentage of haters, if I can use that term, are really just going to be people who are familiar with this DNA, or maybe they associate it with like an ex-girlfriend or something like that. But it's a wonderful smelling fragrance. However, it doesn't last a super long time. We're going to discuss all of that in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and continue with my overall assessment. Now, as far as the uniqueness and the overall smell is concerned, this is not at all a unique fragrance. It actually smells like the 2001 fragrance, which preceded it by 3 years, called Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana. But nonetheless, it's a super inexpensive alternative of that fragrance. Yes, I know you can also find Light Blue discounted online, so just do your research, do a side-by-side, and see if that extra $20 is going to be worth it to buy the Light Blue version instead of purchasing this version. But in my humble opinion, if you have one, you don't need both, but the overall smell is incredibly pleasant. Citrus, musk, slightly sweet, slightly floral, a little feminine, but very classic smelling, but not in a dated way, of course. In terms of the longevity, bad. I got about 3 hours on my skin. So this is a fragrance that you do have to apply several times throughout the day if you really want to get the full experience, or if you want to be noticeable throughout the day. And the sad part is that I'm sure that that wasn't the case when this fragrance was first launched. I'm sure initially it did do rather well, but you know, a lot of companies like to reformulate their fragrances throughout the years. And in recent years, unfortunately, this one I don't think has been performing as well. I remember first trying this fragrance about 3 years ago in stores, and it wasn't until last year, like I said, that I actually ended up purchasing this fragrance for my wife. In terms of the projection, it's great for the first hour, but then it does become a skin scent right about that 1 hour mark, and then it becomes sort of imperceptible, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Versatility on this one is great. Listen, I think the price will allow you to wear it many occasions. I think in terms of seasons, however, you could probably wear this one in the hotter weather only. When you're in the middle of winter or something like that, it's just not going to be able to withstand the harsh cold climate. But I think also there's something casual about this fragrance as well. So I would probably wear it for like a semi-formal event, but not for like a super formal event. You can wear something that'll get heads to turn much better than this fragrance. And also keep in mind that you might be reminding some people of their ex-girlfriend. In terms of the presentation, listen, it's Moschino, right? They have a fragrance that looks like a teddy bear. They have a fragrance that looks like a Windex bottle. They have a fragrance that looks like Olive from Popeye. But all in all, I think that this is a good fragrance if you're looking for an alternative to Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue. I think that there are some negatives there. A lot of people are tired of that smell. It's a very popular smell, and I know some people swear by Dolce & Gabbana. So if you do, then continue to purchase that fragrance. However, if you want to pick up a fragrance that you know smells good, you know is mass appealing, and I think it would also make for a really good gift for like a really young female in your life, definitely check this one out. I don't really think you can go wrong in too many categories, but overall, I think it's a good fragrance. I like smelling it on my wife too. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was my review of Moschino's Cheap and Chic I Love Love. If you own or have tried this fragrance, I would love to know what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Also, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you could support this channel by subscribing to it. It's easy and it's free. All you need to do is click that red button in the corner, and this way, whenever I do upload future fragrance related videos, it will get sent straight to your feed. Especially if you click on that bell notification, you will get that push notification sent straight to your phone, and this way you'll be kept up to date with new reviews, top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, interviews, announcements, and a whole lot more. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.